That was the most fun I had in a theater all year. So I just want to throw that out there. Anyone that was like,
I felt like the third act kind of dragged a bit.
shut the fuck up. You're fucking gay. This would be where my desk used to be. This is where my desk used to be. You can see the indentation of it. Well, Dante Graves is leaving his iconic apartment. Look at all this empty wall space. It's all empty in here now. It's all just memories. I'm not a very sentimental guy, what can I say? So whoever wants it, it's all yours. If you want to live in iconic places, iconic locations such as where Dante's chair was, where the other chair was, where the TV was, where the TV used to be, you know, where my fish was. There's all kinds of things. If you want to shit in the same toilet that Dante Graves shit in...
Stop. The light is not focusing. I can't see you. Now go.
If you want to shit in the same toilet...
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's fine. I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
If you want to shit in the same toilet that Dante Graves shit in, if you want to shower where Dante Graves showered, this is the apartment for you. Cupboards, I mean, it's a normal apartment. However, it comes with one severe drawback. And I'm not going to really go into details because it's a sensitive subject for me. My bedroom, which you have never seen, to my knowledge. Gwen, have we ever showed it?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, well, the bedroom. That light doesn't come off. Also, I never shut that door for reasons that I will keep to myself because we want people to rent this place, you know?
Yeah.
So, bedroom, it's okay. Closet, you know, I just never really was in there, it's the point. Back door. You know, it's an apartment. What can I say? Well, Gwen and I are going to head out to New Horizons. I thank her for shooting my apartment rental advertisement video. This is a weird episode. God damn. So, it's been a fun 24 episodes of the Dante Graves Show in this apartment, but it's time to move on to bigger and better things. A lot of history, but I don't really care. So see you guys later. It's Dante Graves on a new episode of Dante's Drive-In. I'm currently snowed in to my house, and I wanted to go to my actual job, but my car was like it wouldn't go back and it wouldn't go forward, and I shoveled and I'm like looking under it. I'm like laying on the fucking cold pavement with ice over it, and I'm like, what the fuck are you stuck on? It just is like every time I try to back up. So I'm stuck here. And so I made myself a promise, because I didn't go to work yesterday, but everybody didn't go to work yesterday. Everybody goes into work today, and then I still call in. So I'm like, okay, if I'm not going to work today, I better get something done productive. And what I decided to do was a Dante's Drive-In episode. 'Cause I haven't done one in a while. I think, did I say it last time? Because I'm going to say it again. Every Dante's Drive-In episode, I start and I'm like, I haven't done a Dante's Drive-In episode in a while, so I figured I'd do one. Shut the fuck up! I'm also... I'm on edge, bro. I'm on edge, brother. I'm on a diet, and I'm on a different exercise regime. Does Dante Graves work out? You'd think that I would, because I get into so many fights and I'm so competitive in said fights. But really the truth is that I go for a lot of brisk walks, like long distance, long form brisk walks, and that's it. I used to do a little bit of martial arts, like recreationally, like for fun with my friends. I don't anymore, but I picked it up recently again as a form. Because see, martial arts, when I say martial arts, I'm not in the fucking gym, like fucking hitting a bag or fucking like doing, you know, Karate Kid shit. I'm just like practicing holds, practicing tosses, you know. I do some kicks and punches and things, but I just kind of like do martial arts for fun and spar with people. As a way to like make me want to work out, because that's fun to me. Martial arts is fun to me. It's the best way to get myself motivated to do it. The only way I could get myself to do this drive-in episode was to stand and do it, because I couldn't sit down. The reason for wanting to lose a bunch of weight, why am I telling you this? Because it's my show and I can talk about whatever I want. I'm giving you guys a little update on what Dante Graves has been up to. The reason I wanted to lose a bunch of weight, it's a New Year's resolution kind of thing, and I've never really done a New Year's resolution, or at least not one that I was like serious about. This one I am. And I want to, like, by the summertime, be able to confidently take my shirt off, or another benchmark is to be able to look down and see my own dick without having to suck in my stomach. I can see my dick. I can see it in the mirror. I can see it when I stuck in my stomach or when I grab it. But when I just look down, if I'm like letting my gut out, I can't see my own dick. And that bugs the fuck out of me. Because once someone pointed it out to me, not like someone was like looking, but they were like, you know, it was really nice when I was able to look down and see my own dick after stop drinking pop. And I was like, I can't see my dick. Son of a bitch. And there's that, and then there's also an argument I had with somebody. Don't care about them. Like, they're a fucking loser. They're a waste of my time. But during the argument, I don't remember what I said, but they were getting really heated, and they were saying, like, you wouldn't say any of these things to my face. And I said something like, you don't scare me. And then they said, well, you're a fat pussy in real life. And it, like, when he said it, I was just like, but, like, you know, then I, like, read the message to other people, and they were all like, ooh. Ew. What am I? And I don't know. I just had never been called. I've been called a pussy a lot of times, but like in the middle of an argument, nobody had ever been like, yeah, right, fatso. It just had never happened before, and so I'm gonna go ahead and say, yeah, it hurt my feelings. And if anything, but that was like a long time ago. But it's just like a little straw onto the camel, and then eventually. The camel's back broke, you know? And so I'm trying a new diet. So I cut soda. I'm trying to eat like once a day. And when I eat, I'm trying to eat rice, green beans, and chicken breast. And, you know, I'll mix it up. I'll eat like an orange for breakfast or something. But it's like, oh, motherfucker, I can't stand it. And then I'm also doing weight training and stuff like that. I'm just not a fitness guy. It's the thing. I am... But I know it's important, and I feel better when I look in the mirror, and I'm like, I can't get my sleeve up far enough for you to be able to see. There's actually some muscle growth here, and I can tell. And that feels good. So, like, I'm going to keep that up. It's only been, like, a couple weeks, and I'm over here like, I can't do it. So, like, shut the fuck up. Just do it. It's not that hard. And in all reality, it's like, I'm trying to cut the weight, build it back up with muscle instead, and then just eat my regular diet but keep up with my workouts. So my regular diet is not good, but I had a very unhealthy relationship with food where I would just like, if there was just a bag of Doritos or fucking Little Debbie's or candy or something, I could be full, like stuffed to the brim, and I'm like, I really want to taste these Oreos. I don't want to eat them, I want to taste them. In a perfect world, I could just chew these things and spit them out or something. Because that's like my thing is I just want to taste things. I'm not eating because I'm, like, I guess I'm eating because I'm bored, you know, which is what some people say, and I'm always like, I'm not bored though, I'm watching a movie, you know, it's like, but for some reason when I'm sitting down and watching something, I feel like I have to have snacks. Okay, that's 6 minutes of me talking about fitness and stuff. What's the point of this video? The point of this video is to make amends for the fact that I did very little drive-ins last year, and so I'm like, I'm gonna go all out. Okay, I'm gonna show out for you guys. I've got tons of content planned for this drive-in, and all of it is I better still have this. Okay, yes I do. I have here a list of every movie that I saw in theaters in the year of 2023. 2023 was really, really kind to Dante Graves. Very few violent encounters with villains, one or two maybe, you know, but like not that many serious ones, and more or less like a lot of things went my way, and I got a job I enjoy, and I guess that's kind of had me slow down on Dante Graves stuff. I'm still Dante Graves, nobody can take that away from me, except for me, but either way, I saw a bunch of movies in theaters. I didn't talk about, I don't think, any of these. If I did talk about it, I'll just glaze over it completely. If I don't have much to say about it, I'm going to glaze over it completely. these are going to be short reviews because I've got a lot of movies to cover here. I don't know how many, so just stick with me here. And I tried my best to put them in chronological order. But if you jump in the comments and you're like, this came out a month after this, I don't care. I tried to do this from memory. And to my knowledge, looking at ticket stubs and my social media and stuff, these are the movies that I saw, and this is, I believe, the order I seen them in. So let's just jump into it. We're just talking movies. There's going to be a wide variety of stuff covered here. There's some oldies that I saw at some screenings, and then there's also some new stuff. Mostly it's new stuff. Yeah, and not all of it's horror, but I see other things other than just horror films. So let's just jump in. That's what this episode's about. It's me talking about movies and some cool bumpers that may or may not be put in after the fact. Okay, movie number 1 is Megan Mathregan, isn't it? Yeah, the G, I think the G is in the E, isn't it? Or the 3 is in the E. Doesn't fucking matter. The movie about the fucking robot doll thing. I saw that movie, and I really, really liked it. I gotta do better than that. If every fucking movie I talk about is that quickly, this is gonna be stupid. Megan, it was a great first start movie of the year. I thought it was a great franchise starter. If they're gonna do more of these, I'll watch them. I thought that Megan was very memorable, is the best thing I can have to say about it. I have this newer test for a movie, because so many movies I see nowadays, if I see them and then like the next day, I'm not thinking about them at all. I'm like thinking about other shit, or if I'm like on the drive home, I'm thinking about other shit. That means typically that the movie was just kind of like fine, but it was just like the definition of disposable. Like if I leave a movie, I say I liked it, but I'll never watch it again, I might as well just say I didn't like it. But that's not fair, because there is stuff on here that's like meant to just be like, go to a fun night out at the movies, and then you just get rid of it. And that's fine, you know, like there's things that are supposed to be there as for that. But Megan was not that. Megan was like, I seen it, I had fun in the theater, a ton of fun. I left, I was still thinking about it, and then like a couple days later, I wanted to hear like some podcasts I listened to talk about it. I wanted to watch some videos, kind of breaking it down. That's the sign that I connected with the movie in some fashion. If I was thinking about it after the fact and was like, yeah, I'd like to watch it again. And the ultimate sign that I liked Megan was that when it came out on Blu-ray, I bought it. Next movie I saw was Shazam! Fury of the Gods. This was a part of a little experiment I was doing where if there was a movie that came out that I wanted to see, but I couldn't get anyone else in my purview to see it, I would go see it by myself. I hadn't gone seen a movie by myself in a long time, and so Shazam! Fury of the Gods, I think, was the first one I did it with in like a long time. The last movie I saw by myself, I can't even think of, because, you know, here's the thing. breaking kayfabe for a second. Dante Graves, I'm Devin. I have a girlfriend. And if I want to go see a movie, I'll go see a movie with my girlfriend. Okay? So, the idea of going to see movies by myself is like a gone thing. But now that I got my own job, that's like up in the city, it's like a little bit of a drive over that way. When I leave work and stuff, I like to, you know, sometimes if it's like she's not going to be home or something, I'll be like, oh, I'm going to go see a movie. So I went to go see Shazam! Fury of the Gods. This is what I was talking about when I say a movie's fine. I left the theater, it was gone. But when I was in the theater watching it, I wasn't like, you know, it just, I don't know. I think that would be a good enough time to bring up superhero fatigue, because the next movie I saw is Antman Quantumania. Both of these movies I feel identical about, because villain doesn't really matter. I mean, with Antman Quantumania, there's Kang, who, you know, I'm not even going to get into Jonathan Majors because I could go on and on, but there's him, and he's also in Creed 3, so it was a very Jonathan Majors heavy in the first part of the year. But, you know, he's a fine villain, but it's just like, you don't really give a shit, and then, like, the superhero, fine, action scenes are fine, CGI looks fine, it's like everything's just fine. And I've talked about this before in my Marvel Cinematic Universe video, so you can just go and watch that. But I just don't give a shit. I saw Ant-Man Quantumania with a bunch of friends because we all wanted to go see a movie, and that was what was out. So we went and seen a movie. Shazam I saw by myself, and I had more fun at Ant-Man because I had friends with me. But there was virtually no distinction in quality between the two films. So, there's, I mean, yeah, I guess, well, Shazam, it's weird because, like, I could feel the director of that movie really trying to make the movie feel like it had weight and stakes and make you care about stuff, and, like, jokes that were put in specific places to be funny but not ruin the serious stuff, and the serious stuff they wanted to make kind of scary. And it was like the director of Annabelle Creation, who also did the first Shazam, and I really liked the first Shazam, but like the first Shazam I also had the same problem where I just didn't care about the actual plot. It was just like a one-time watch movie. And Annabelle Creation I enjoy more than both these things because I'm also a horror guy, but that's kind of a one-time watch horror movie too. So it's just like, is that, I feel like he could do better. It's just like, it's always the plots of his movies that I just don't give a shit. And I don't want to be that guy that's just like, I don't care, who cares, superhero fatigue. But at the same time, it's really true. I'm really into like The Punisher, and I like Blade, and I like Wolverine, and I like the Fantastic Four, Superman, and Batman. But, like, I think even with those characters, if I seen a movie with them coming out, unless it looks really good enough isn't enough for me anymore. I'm over mid superhero movies. So both of those go into that category. The next movie I saw was Renfield. This movie, I didn't like Renfield. You know what I mean? I don't want to say I hated it, but it was one of the most frustrating movies because Nicolas Cage as Dracula. I fucking love Dracula as a character. I think I said once that Dracula is my favorite fictional character, and that might still be true. I can watch anything if it's got Dracula in it. I know that some people have always like made fun of me for this. Like, it's like being a fan of Sherlock Holmes. It's like such a classic character that it's almost not even a character anymore. It's like an archetype. So that it's like, there's like, how is that your favorite character when there's so many different interpretations of it? I don't know, dude. I just like Dracula. A very specific kind of Dracula, though. Nicolas Cage as this character is so good. He's so good that the movie pisses me off worse, because I love the 1931 Dracula film, and this is supposed to be like a sequel to that. Like, the beginning of it, they like insert Nicholas Hoult, Nicolas Cage into like the parts of Renfield and Dracula, and they're like, yes, this is the continuation of that story. This is like, you know, I get that it's not saying like literally this is canon, but it's just like hey, you could in theory look at this as a continuation of that. And in no part of Dracula 1931 did I ever think that a sequel would involve like Matrix fight scenes and Like, it really was. It's just that. That's my problem. Because it's not the comedy. It's not the emphasis on Renfield, really. Because Nicholas Holt's fine in it. This just comes off like somebody who either an AI wrote it or it's a college student that thought that they were being really, really fucking clever. Like a film school student that's like, what if it's Renfield but he's the hero? And what if Renfield has powers and he can do like fucking kung fu and shit? And I'm just like, I just don't want to see that. I don't care. And when that's distracting from Nicolas Cage's performance as Dracula, I get really annoyed. Because Nicolas Cage has wanted to play Dracula for a very long time. I think under the right circumstances. Like, here's the thing is, I look at this as a producer almost. Where, if I was a producer and someone approached me with this script, I'd be like, you know what, this isn't actually a terrible script, but why are these like, weird, like, fight scenes where there's, like, people doing flips and, like, people have superpowers and stuff? Why is that in there? And then somebody would say, like, well, you know, like, superhero movies are big right now or whatever. And I'd be like, yeah, but, like, we could save so much more money if this was just, like, a horror comedy with a budget a fraction of what this is going to cost, and we'd actually make some money on it. And then somebody would say, no, you're an idiot, and then they'd make this movie instead, and then the movie would underperform as it did, and then they'd say, well, people don't want to see Nicolas Cage as Dracula, I guess. Dumb movie. Stupid movie. Pisses me off, actually. I will not watch it again. If you liked it, that's fine. I don't fucking care. Creed 3. I saw Creed 3. This was another one of the films that I couldn't get anybody to watch with me. I was like, what the fuck? Do we all... I got so many people to go see Creed 2 with me. I saw Creed 1 by myself when it first came out. And then all of a sudden, Creed 2 comes out and everyone fucking likes Creed. I got a big crowd to go with me. That same crowd, where are you guys at? Creed 3! I don't know. I was very annoyed. Either way, Creed 3 was really, really good. Can you hear my heater? I don't know. It's down here. There's a heater because it's so fucking cold in this place. Creed 3 was really good. The Jonathan Majors situation, I don't really think complicates this at all because Jonathan Majors is playing kind of a bad guy in this movie. And some people were like, you know, if you think about it, he's one of those bad guys that's got like a good point, and you almost agree with him. And the hero is honestly kind of a piece of shit when you... It's like, why is that? Like, what the minute a bad guy's, like, kind of sympathetic and has, like, a sort of, like, oh, I can see why he's angry. Then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, the hero is the real villain. It's like, no, that's not it at all. Jonathan Majors' character in this movie is a really, kind of a really bad person. It sucks what got him into that position, but at the same time, I'm still going to side with Adonis, and I hope Adonis beats his ass. So, maybe that's because I know people said, like, well, maybe it's because you had 2 movies with Adonis. If you had 2 movies with whatever, then you might think Adonis is the bad guy. I don't think that's the case. I think that, you know, the things that he was doing in this movie was, like, very, very selfish. Just because you had bad stuff happen to you does not give you an excuse to be awful to other people. And that's something that a lot of people seem to forget. Media literacy is dead when it comes to villains that are sort of layered. People are all of a sudden like, wait, they are kind of right about this thing? So they're the good guy? And it's like, no. Sometimes bad people have legitimate motivations for being bad. Creed 3 was really, really good. I hope they make Creed 4. My pitch for Creed 4... I had 3 pitches once. I said, 1, you do... so Adonis has always kind of had like a temper, and he was in juvie in the first Creed movie, like when we first meet him and stuff. So what if you had Adonis mess up pretty badly, like maybe somebody like really like fucks with his wife or his kid or something, and Adonis punches them so hard they die. And then he goes to prison for manslaughter or something like that. And in prison, he could meet an old rival, and they have to do prison boxing like in that movie Undisputed. Or Undisputed 2 if you prefer that one, which I do. You do prison boxing. I thought that'd be kind of cool. And kind of show like, you're not in the mansion, you're not in the fucking, you know, bright lights of Hollywood and stuff like that. You're down back to square one, where you began. But now you're a grown man and you don't have, you know, your mom to come in and sweep you out of there. You gotta get yourself out. I think that'd be kind of a cool story. And it would be very, very different from like previous Rocky films. I don't think we've ever seen I've seen every Rocky movie, so I know we have not seen that before. The other thing would be, there's a fucking cop out there. I'm in my own house. You can't do fucking shit to me. It just stresses me out when I see a fucking cop. The other plot that I had in mind is a complete fantasy one. This is like a non-real one. This isn't like a, they better do this. It's just like a, wouldn't that be wacky? And it was like, basically you take Adonis and you put him up against a superhero. Like literally Superman. And you do like the Muhammad Ali versus Superman fight. That one, don't do that one. That's a stupid idea. I said that once when I was inebriated and people were like, that's actually a cool idea. And then I was like, yeah, I guess it is. No, it's not. But then the third idea, which is the idea I like the absolute best, is you have Adonis get called out by somebody who's not in the boxing world. They're in the MMA world. And, you know, with the modern day, like, influencer boxing and stuff, what if we have our next opponent for Adonis be kind of like a mouthy Jake Paul, Logan Paul type character who's in the MMA world, and he has to step out of his comfort zone and cross over into MMA and fight them. That'd be kind of cool. Okay, what's the next movie?
I just need to with this damn closet.
John Wick 4. Rather than review John Wick 4, because I'm going to just say that I think it's perfect, and I love it, and I wouldn't change a fucking thing about it. I want to just explain my experience watching it. Okay, so the first John Wick movie, when it came out, I remember somebody recommending to me in the video store, because in Greenfield we still had a video store. A friend of mine was like, you'd really like this. And I like looked at the cover, and it was like a guy with a gun and John Wick, and I was just like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm good, thanks. But they were like, no, please, like, it's really, really good. And I was renting, like, oh, shit. I don't remember what I was renting. I rented some other basic bullshit. It was like Captain America Winter Soldier or some shit like that. They were like, you'll really, really like this. And I'm like, okay, fine, fuck it, I'll rent it. So I rented it basically just to kind of get them to shut up. And then later I watched all the movies I had picked out on purpose. And then I go to rent, or to watch that. And I was like, I'm going to go to sleep in like 2 seconds. So I'm just going to throw it on, watch enough of it to be able to fake my way through a conversation through it, and then be done with it. And that movie just like, and like sucked me in. I was just like, holy shit. This is a movie. This is a fucking real movie. God damn. Why was I so stupid? It was so frustrating because I wanted to be the guy that knew that this was a good movie. But I didn't. And then I watched it, and it was fucking awesome. And then I had to go and be the person in the video store and try and convince all my friends to watch it, and none of them wanted to fucking watch it. Someone's taking their dog out for a walk and like 2 feet away from my window. It's a cute dog, but I don't want them to see me in here do it. Whatever. Nah. Don't look at my window, weirdo. Yeah. I had to go and convince all my friends to be like, this is really good. You gotta just take my word for it. It's a really good movie. Great action scenes, great story, great music, great atmosphere, great lore. I mean, just like, watch it, please, watch it. And nobody wanted to. And then John Wick 2 was coming out. And I remember I was sitting in the theater about to watch Split, which is a movie I didn't really want to see. It was fine after the fact. I just got kind of dragged to it. And I was watching that, and there was a trailer for John Wick 2, and I was like, yes! And my friends were like, what's the deal? I don't get, like, I'm like, yeah, you did. And then eventually I got them to watch it, and they were all like, oh, we were so wrong. It was so good. Oh, fuck. How did we not know? And I'm like, I know. That's how I felt. And then John Wick 2 came out, and we were all John Wick fans. John Wick was fucking awesome. John Wick 3 comes out, and it was just like, it went from like, it was like, you know, ninjas, and he's riding a horse, and he's fucking doing all the, he's in the desert, and there's Halle Berry, and she's got double dogs, and it was just like, dude, make 9 of these, you know? And then John Wick 4 took like a while. At least it felt like a while. It was like, John Wick 4 should be out by now. But then the pandemic happened, and it got pushed back, and, oh, John Wick 4 is going to be 2 movies. No, never mind, it's actually going to be just 1, so we're going to take 2 movies and shove them together, but it's going to make for an even bigger movie, and everyone's just kind of like, and then, like, a trailer comes out, and it felt like the hype wasn't as huge as it had previously been, and I was getting worried. And then, with a handful of friends who were all among that original, like, John Wick class that I was like, come on, guys, you gotta watch this. We all got together, opening night. It was a beautiful thing to get everyone together like that, to go see John Wick 4. And right beforehand, we all crushed, not on purpose, but we were just so excited, and we all got a beer. We all got Tall Boys, and we just crushed them. And then we ordered a second one to go into the theater with, and I don't want to say I was hammered, but I do have a very low alcohol tolerance. We were buzzed just enough that this movie was the greatest movie we had ever seen at that time. And in that theater, we probably made asses of ourselves, but it also felt like the rest of the theater was doing it too, where whenever John Wick would do anything cool, he'd like flip a dude over and fucking crack his neck, or he'd fucking whip out a pencil and stick it in someone, you know, just any kind of cool, sick thing he did, or he'd throw a dude off a balcony and the guy would land on his fucking head and like crack his fucking spine into 3 places. Everyone would go, oh shit, oh, 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 like, it was just constant, like, oh, you know, and it was like a fucking wrestling match happening for like, how long is John Wick 3? Like, or 4? It's like almost 3 hours. I had so much fun. That was the most fun I had in a theater all year. So I just want to throw that out there. Anyone that was like,
I felt like the third act kind of dragged a bit.
shut the fuck up. You're fucking gay. Okay, next movie I saw was Cocaine Bear. I'm going to keep this one short because I don't really have much to say about it. I went with some friends around St. Patrick's Day, and we had fun, but it was also the kind of fun where... remember earlier when I was talking about Megan, I was like, sometimes you leave a movie and then it just exits your brain? That was Cocaine Bear. Cocaine Bear is a movie I'll never watch again. It's it's that title got everyone talking about it, the viral marketing thing, like, no way, that's a thing, that kind of thing. I even met Cocaine Bear at Scarefest, the real Cocaine Bear, which was pretty cool. But yeah, I don't give a shit about the movie. I had no issue with it when watching it. I was happy to see Ray Liotta. He's one of my favorite actors. It's a bummer that that's his last movie, but yeah, I don't know. I just don't give a fuck. It was like I left the theater and I've already forgotten everything about it. It was not funny enough to stay with me. It wasn't gory enough to stand out. It wasn't crazy and wacky enough to be a Sharknado. It wasn't, I don't know, it just wasn't anything. I don't really give a shit. Next movie I saw in theaters was Army of Darkness. Now, this was actually a special screening because of, okay, well, actually, I saw Evil Dead Rise before Army of Darkness, because I remember I got tickets for my birthday to go to Bruce-A-Rama. Bruce Campbell is my hero. He's my favorite person in the world. Among them. He's in like this elite list of 5 people that I would die for, that I don't even know. So like, I love Bruce Campbell. And I got tickets to the Bruce-A-Rama thing, and I was like so fucking nervous, and I'm like, I gotta see Evil Dead Rise before I go meet Bruce Campbell, because Evil Dead is like my favorite horror franchise. I feel like it's just on a undefeated streak. It's never turned out a bad product, really. So, Evil Dead Rise, I loved it. I'm not gonna get too into it. I saw it 3 times in theaters, which is a record for this year, for amount of movies. The movie I saw the most in theaters over again, Evil Dead Rise, for certain, because I went and seen it the night before it came out. I went and seen it the weekend it came out with my girlfriend, and then I went and seen it again with my friends when we were doing a triple feature of John Wick 4 again, Evil Dead Rise, and Sisu, which we'll get into Sisu later. Evil Dead Rise, though, it was fucking awesome. I loved it. So I saw Evil Dead Rise, and then a couple days later, go and meet Bruce Campbell, which I have a photo of it, and I'm like, I think I'm wearing this shirt actually in the picture. This is one of my favorite shirts. It's just like a good fit. I was just like holding back tears, you know, because I didn't want to be that person that goes and meets their hero and is like, I love you so much, you know. So I was like, just like staring at the floor, because I made eye contact with him like one time, and he looked exactly like how he looked on TV, and that was just so surreal that I couldn't, it was like looking at the sun. I couldn't do it any longer. And so then I shook his hand, and then like as I'm making hand contact, I'm thinking about, I'm like, this is the hand that was inside the chainsaw. And I just was like, oh fuck, you know. And I gave him the best handshake I could possibly give, and I remember I said, hi Bruce. And then he said he could tell that I was like one thing could fall out of place and I would just explode like SpongeBob with the tears coming out of his eyes. And so then he like fluffs up his jacket, and he said to me, he's like, we're just two cool guys. And then we took the picture, and he said, have fun, buddy. And I said, thank you, Bruce. And then I walked away, and I bawled like an infant that was just born. So it was the coolest thing ever. Scarefest, if I ever make a video about that, I got way more used to meeting heroes of mine and celebrities and stuff like that. But I still, like, Bruce Campbell, there's something about him that's very difficult to put into words when you meet him in person. He's just like a next level being, you know? After meeting him, I got to go take my seat. I had the best fucking seat ever. Right center, front fucking row. There was like two sets of chairs before me, but they were like ones you couldn't actually sit in, so it was weird. But I had the best seat in the house. I got to have Bruce Campbell standing like 5 feet away from me on the stage, walking back and forth, answering people's questions and stuff like that. They did his little last fan standing trivia game. I sucked at it. I didn't care. I had already got what I needed to come for. And then they did a screening of Army of Darkness, which I had never seen Army of Darkness in a theater, and I'd never seen it with a bunch of fans. But I've seen Army of Darkness probably like 900 times, and you know, everyone's quoting lines and yelling at the screen. It was a great time. So, really, I only put Army of Darkness on there because I barely fucking remember watching the movie when I was in the thing, because my chair was uncomfortable, and I was basically just there to see Bruce, and once I'd seen him, I could have got up and left, but it's like, nah, you gotta do the whole package. Bruce Campbell curated this film for me to watch. I'm gonna fucking watch it, god damn it. So yeah, I put it on there just so I could talk about meeting Bruce Campbell, which was awesome. Next, we've got Scream 6. More like Scream sucks, am I right? No, I'm just kidding. So, Scream 6 in hindsight, I don't like nearly as much as when I first seen it, especially knowing now that there's probably not going to be any kind of continuation of these characters. And that, once I found that out, it made me really sad, because I really, really liked actually where we were going. Like, Melissa Barrera's character in Scream 5 didn't really connect for me. But in this one, there was just something about it that I'm like, okay, if you keep doing this, then we'll be talking. And now we'll never get to see it. And that makes me really sad. Because Scream 6, when it came out, it felt like there was like all this fervor of like, we're all Scream fans. We're all horror fans. Let's fucking go! And we all went. And we all loved it. And there was a little bit of like, I didn't care for this. And people were like, yeah, dude, I get that. But I still love it. And the person's like, yeah, you're right, I do too. And that's kind of how I was. I was like, nitpicking. I'm like, so wait, if these people are the killers, then how the fuck does that mean that like this person is Why aren't they trying to kill that person if they're the killer? Like the part on the subway train, if the one kid is one of the ghost faces, why is he helping her? There's nobody watching. Like, he's just doing that for the audience. And there's other, like, little weird plot holes in it. Like, if you really think about it, it's kind of a stupid movie. But when you're watching it, you're not noticing that stuff. And it plays and is paced so well. And sure, there's things I would have changed. I would have loved it if they had killed Gale. If you're going to do my boy Dewey, kill Gale, okay? And don't post out, make me really, really think you're going to, and oh no, we did. Oh, she's dead. Nah, she's not. Wait, no, she is. Nah, she's not. Don't do that. Just fucking either do it or don't. Okay? I don't know. So there's things I would change, but at the end of the day, I just feel kind of empty about it now, especially knowing where it's all going. The Scream 7 stuff, I could get really heated about it if I wanted to, but I got a ton of fucking movies to talk about, so let's just move on. But yeah, Scream 6, I really liked it. But my feelings about it are now a bit more muddy because of recent events. Sisu, I saw. It seems like nobody else saw this movie. This was just a badass action movie. A good old-fashioned fuck yeah movie. You know, like you see the trailer and you tell your one friend who also liked John Wick before everybody else, and you were like, you want to go see that? And then you both went and seen it, and we had a great fucking time. That was Sisu. Sisu was brutal, it was violent, it was basic, it was simple, well acted, well shot. Really, I think my only true complaint with it is that towards the last act of the movie, the whole movie, the main guy's been like really fucking badass and doing things that you're like, oh shit, that is a tough dude. But it's all stuff that you're like, yeah, I could see someone doing that. Like, that's technically possible. And then at the end of the movie, he does something that's like straight out of a fucking Looney Tunes cartoon. And some people are going to be like, but that's what's so good about it. And it's like, yeah, but when the whole movie, it's been like right here. And it's just been like this and this and this and this. And then all of a sudden we're like, for context, if someone doesn't know what I'm talking about, the scene where he's got the pickaxe and he fucking like jumps out of his Jeep and hits it into the fucking plane that's like in flight, and it goes like takes off, and he's like holding on to the. You'd fucking rip your hands off, or break your arms, or rip your arms out of their sockets, and someone's gonna be like, oh, physics, Derb, you like the Fast and the Furious? No, it's like the whole movie he hasn't done anything like that, and now he did that, and that's like the one part that I was like, okay, movie, sure, bud, and I don't know. I wished that the whole movie had maintained that level of like grounded brutality, just teetering on that line of like, I don't know if a human being is capable of this. So Sisu was good though. Next I saw the Super Mario Brothers movie. I feel like I got these ones wrong. I feel like Mario came out before those, but that's what I mean is I don't know. That's just like the order I kind of remembered seeing them in. Super Mario Brothers movie was a dream come true, honestly. I know we could sit here and nitpick the simplicity of the plot, the lack of arc, the lack of whatever. I don't care. It had pretty animation and pretty colors. The characters looked the way they're supposed to look. Most of them sounded the way they were supposed to sound to me. I even came around to Chris Pratt as Mario. Bowser is my favorite Mario character. Look, here's the thing. I'm a huge Nintendo fan. Like I'm a Nintendo fanboy. I see Mario and I just go like, it's Mario! So it's just like, my opinion about the movie is not going to be, you know, the your movie sucks opinion. I'm not going to sit here and argue with people who say it's bad because, well, one, I don't even really think it's bad. I just like, I don't know. Some people got really, really mad about it, and I don't normally go to the defense of like, it's for kids, but for this one I'm like, yeah, but like, it kind of is like for like kids, you know? I don't know. So my feelings are about it are complicated, but my personal subjective opinion is that I had a ton of fun watching it, and I even saw it twice. So it's a me, the guy that liked the Mario movie. Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So yeah, that's a big jump, because when I saw Super Mario Brothers, it was snowing outside, and Guardians of the Galaxy, it was like a beautiful summer day. So I don't remember actually really, I guess, how I saw these movies in the theater. That Guardians of the Galaxy I saw in the Winterset Theater, the Iowa, pictured here. And the Iowa is known for having Way Back Wednesdays, where they'll show old movies, which is how I saw some of the movies that we're about to be talking about, is they showed them at Way Back Wednesdays, and I went and seen them there. So, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, though, I fucking loved this movie. When I was talking about earlier, I was like, superhero fatigue, I'm over bad superhero movies, even if one came out with a character I liked, I might not be super excited. James Gunn is the only guy, really, that still, for some reason, can get me. Because The Suicide Squad was the best DC movie I'd ever seen. And then this is the best Marvel movie I'd ever seen, I think, for a while. Someone's gonna be like, "What about this?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, I love that movie." But in the moment as I was watching it, I was like, "This movie's perfect." So I loved Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Moving on, I want to start. I got a lot of movies on this list. We're only in May right now. So the next movie I saw was Goldfinger, and I saw this at a Way Back Wednesday. This is a James Bond movie. To be specific, it is the third of the MGM Bond films. I took my girlfriend to see... I'm just breaking kayfabe. At this point, you know, I'm still Dante Graves, okay? But Dante Graves is bisexual now. How about that? Dante Graves has a girlfriend. Sure. Maybe. I don't know. This might not be canon. I took my girlfriend to see Goldfinger because I really wanted her to see a Bond movie, like, in the theater, like a classic one, though. Because she'll watch Bond movies, but once you start getting to, like, a certain, like, kind of like pre-Timothy Dalton, like, she'll watch a couple of the Roger Moore ones, but even those are kind of spotty, and especially the Sean Connery ones, she just doesn't get down with them. And I was like, if you could just see one in a theater where you're, like, totally immersed in it, maybe you'd feel differently. So I took her to see Goldfinger, and we both really had a good time with it. I remember, though, feeling very fish out of water at this screening because I went to it and there was a bunch of old people, which I expected. It's a classic movie. And a lot of them were shocked that I was there at all. They were like, "You probably weren't even born when this movie came out." And I'm like, "Well, no." And they're like, "Were you born when any of the Bond movies came out?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah." And I start listing them. And then he's like, "Oh, I don't even know what those are." Like, it was just like, James Bond ceased existing for some of these people. And then the Bond movies that I really like the Timothy Dalton and the Pierce Brosnan ones and the Daniel Craig ones, mainly the Pierce Brosnan ones, those are like, I'm like, yeah, you know, but like, I love James Bond. The James Bond movies that I really like are not even valid to these people. So I was like, shit, am I like the only person that's like, I love all of James Bond? Am I the only one that's like, all of it is good? I don't know. Let me know if I'm wrong about this, because I know a lot of people my age who are like, I only like the new ones. Daniel Craig's the best James Bond. I only watch the new ones. And I know a lot of old people now from this screening that are like, they made more than 8? What do you mean there's 25? You know, it's just like, I guess I'm the one that's out of touch. So, I don't know, but I had a lot of fun at the Goldfinger screening. It's also, it was weird to see a movie in theaters that was so proud to be misogynistic in a theater full of, like, there was, like, grandparents took their kids to it, and there was a part where Bond is gonna talk to some guy after he's, like, introducing the guy to, like, his girlfriend, or his basically just his, like, sex puppet at the time, and he's like, "Now say goodbye to, you know, my friend here, it's man talk," and as she's walking away, he, like, smacks her on the ass. And she's like, "Ooh." And it was just like, this is a movie that wouldn't be made anymore. But I wasn't offended by it. My girlfriend wasn't. She kind of got a chuckle out of it because it was just so very fucking old. But it was funny. It was funny to see. Okay? So next I saw Transformers Rise of the Beasts. This is another movie that I can't be objective about. I have to be subjective about. I like Transformers. I have Transformers toys. I played with them when I was a kid with my friend. And so I'm just like, you know, I see robots fighting each other, and as long as it's competently shot, has some fun music in it, story is not, like, the most stupid thing ever in history. Like, as long as it's, like, as good as the cartoons, which are a low bar to clear, I'm like, yeah, it's good. And this movie, I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, it's good. But it's teetering on that line that Cocaine Bear was all the way in, which is just like, when I left, I kind of didn't think about it. So, I don't know. Like, Bumblebee, I saw that, and I left, and I was still thinking about it, and I'm still thinking about it now, and I love Bumblebee, and I've watched it a couple times since then. I have not gone back to watch Rise of the Beast yet, but I would say I still like it. I like it. It's closer to being a Bumblebee than it is to being the Michael Bay ones. But then again, I grew up watching those Michael Bay ones, and there is like a level of nostalgia. I seen those Burger King commercials, and I seen those fucking, you know, like, I had those toys and stuff. So it's just like, it's hard for me to sit there and be like, those are bad movies. Because I'm like, yeah, but you're being a little dishonest because young you really liked them, you know? And you had a lot of good memories associated with them. A lot of fun summer vacations where the new Transformers movie was like the happening thing to go see. So I don't want to... I'm not going to lie to you. I'll never lie to you about my opinion. I'm always going to be honest with you. So yeah, I like that. Fast X I saw the same day. And Fast X... I remember doing one of the earlier Dante's Drive-In episodes. I covered Fast and the Furious 9, and I went back and checked out what I said about it. My opinion seemed to be that the movie was bad, but that I liked the part where they went to space because it upset so many people, and I liked that it upset people. That was my opinion. I don't know what the fuck I was talking about, because Fast X, whatever that was, I'm going to go ahead and say that whatever I said in that video is still valid, and I still side with the version of me that said those things. But the version of me now that has seen Fast X, because that guy hadn't seen it. I've seen Fast X. He hasn't seen it, okay? As the version of me that has seen Fast X, fuck these movies. So, I watched The Fast and the Furious a couple days ago with a friend of mine, and I was babysitting, and I wanted to show the kids Fast and the Furious for the first time. They're my little sisters, is who I was talking about. And it was a movie that meant a lot to me when I was younger, and it still clicked with them. So I'm like, okay, then I wasn't out of my mind. This is a good movie. The first Fast and the Furious is a good movie, and I'll defend it to my dying breath, okay? A lot of great practical car stunts. It's built and written like a Greek tragedy, which I think is kind of cool, or like a Shakespearean tragedy. Someone's going to be like, what are you talking about? And that's just true. It's just an objective fact. The plot structure of the original Fast and the Furious is written like a poetic tragedy, which I think is kind of cool. And I really enjoy that film. Second one, third one, fourth one, all fun, but they're not as good as the first one. And then the fifth one is like when we get into what they are now, and they've just become more and more what they are now until we've reached Fast X. 9 is the one that broke me. But X was the one that I was like, you could possibly bring me back. I'm going to give you another shot. And they just can't figure it out. They don't know how to make a movie anymore where things happen and they make sense. I'm not talking about ridiculous car stunts or cars going into space. If you're going to watch a Fast and Furious movie this late in the game and be mad that physics don't work like that, please see Exhibit A, which would be my review or discussion of Fast and Furious 9 in Dante's Drive-In, like summer of 2021 or something. I don't remember when that movie came out. Okay? So, this movie has so many characters and so many plot threads and is so long and so many action scenes, all of which you feel nothing during. There's no cool fight scene that stands out. There's no cool shootout that stands out. There's no cool car chase that stands out. There's like a million new characters being introduced, all of whom you don't care about, and it's just like until it ends on a cliffhanger that you weren't even like it's not even like a cliffhanger. It's more just like they pull the plug and there's no more movie. And they're like, come back in 5 years when we've got the next one. And that one's going to end on a cliffhanger too, because we've set it up that we're doing 3. It's a trilogy, but it's all the last movie. So the last movie is told in 3 parts. Get the fuck out of here. It became more and more clear to me that you should have stopped at Furious 7. Furious 7 is the last one that I was like turbo on board for. And I also realized that this franchise cannot outlive Paul Walker. I know people don't want to say that. I know people don't want to admit that. They don't want to admit that Paul Walker ever had any actual charisma to bring to the table. They don't want to admit that he was kind of the heart and soul of the franchise. They'd like to say that it was always Vin Diesel and then it was The Rock or whatever. No. The character that I was always invested in, and the character that got me invested in this world in the first place, and the character that kept me watching these movies was Brian O'Connor. He always had the most to lose. He always had the most stakes invested. He had the most skin in the game. He felt the most like a real person. And especially watching the original Fast and Furious back again, I was like, he was a really beautiful actor. He's a beautiful man, and it sucks the way he died, but they managed to give him a really good send-off with Fury 7, and then everything else happened. Fury 7, everything before it, I'm done. That's how I am now. Fast X, like, if Fast 9 didn't do it, this one would have, but 9 already did it. I was giving him another chance. It broke me. I'll be there for Fast 11, or Fast XX, or Fast X2, or Fast Extra Fast, or whatever the fuck they want to call it. But I'm gonna sit there the whole time thinking that I really wish Brian was here. Which is what I was thinking the whole time. This one happened, and the 9th one happened, and the 8th one happened, and Hobbs and Shaw happened. So it's just like, this franchise, that's my opinion, okay? Okay, The Flash. Oh my god, I got so many movies still to talk about. Okay, speed round, but I'm gonna try my best. The Flash was whatever. A little bit of it was funny. I don't like Ezra Miller, so I didn't like seeing them in the movie. But I don't like superhero movies anymore. This is a dumb review of The Flash, but The Flash is a dumb movie. I'm gonna move on from it. It was a fine night out at the movies, and then I saw it at, let's be honest here. I saw it at a matinee. I went mostly for Batman, but and the Batman stuff was cool, but not cool enough to save the movie. And the movie was fine, which for a movie that had this much anticipation and being pushed back this far and was in the midst of like a million fucking things happening to it, it needed to be more than fine, and it wasn't. And it is essentially a movie that was crushed under the weight of a bunch of things that were not the movie itself. So, and unfortunately, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. And hopefully, the people who are not Ezra Miller all turn out fine. Jaws, I saw that at a screening with my friend Ethan, who I did the Jaws videos with. We went and seen that as kind of like a celebratory thing, like, hey, we did these videos. And we saw it at the Iowa, the way back screening, and I had a ton of fun. I got nothing else really to say about it, other than I love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies. And we saw it on, like, July 4th weekend, which was fucking awesome. And then the next thing I saw around that same period of time was Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Oh, shit, I really wanted to be, like, quicker, but I might have to split this into two parts. I'm not even fucking kidding. Okay, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, let's do it.
Gotcha.
I love Indiana Jones. The first 4 movies, I love all of them. I love Last Crusade's my favorite, then Temple of Doom. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and Raiders of the Lost Ark have always been kind of like this. Probably most days I'd say Raiders, but I also was a kid when I saw Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and I had the toys, and I went and seen it in the theaters and stuff, and I just kind of didn't mind it. And it was also, if you were gonna do one last Indiana Jones movie, that was the time to do it. A lot of people were dissatisfied with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, so therefore we're back for Dial of Destiny. Here's the thing that I say with a very heavy heart as a huge Indiana Jones fan. Harrison Ford is too old to play Indiana Jones. I know that part of this movie is like, no, Indiana Jones is older. We're acknowledging that he's like 80, you know? I don't want to see that. So, when I do see it, it makes me sad. I understand that people get older, but that's why we allow them to retire. I can still love Harrison Ford. I don't need to see Indiana Jones come out there and have this, like, miserable fucking final years. And you know, sometimes that stuff can be really interesting, but, like, I was always kind of like, if they're doing a 5th Indiana Jones movie, normally if they say they're doing a sequel to anything, I'm always like, I'll see what it is. I'm never hardly the person that's like, I don't want a sequel to this. Almost never am I. Another franchise I don't want a sequel to is Back to the Future. Back to the Future is perfect how it is. Leave it how it is. Indiana Jones, I was very satisfied with it, the way that it was. I felt like it was something that was really like lightning in a bottle, and without those key players involved, it doesn't work. Dial of Destiny proves me right, I think. And I also think that if you were going to do it, you should have recast Harrison Ford. And I know that's like sacrilege, but I grew up with James Bond and Batman and Superman and Spider-Man, where these characters are so beloved and we love them so much that we want to recast them so that like more people can like get to experience these characters, that we can tell stories with them forever and ever. Horror icons are like that. Leatherface, Michael, Jason, Freddy should be like that, but people are really attached to Robert Englund, and I get it, because Robert Englund was so good, and Harrison Ford is so good, and Hugh Jackman is so good, but it's like, you gotta understand that these characters are so good also, that we want them to have life outside of just that person, you know? Dracula, if we weren't allowed to recast the motherfucker, people would talk about Dracula the same way they talk about fucking, like, Nosferatu. You know, it'd be like this old, moldy movie that nobody really goes to watch, but we kind of all know the impressions and stuff. But, like, because of the fact that we got to recast it, we got Christopher Lee out of it. We got Frank Langella out of it. We got fucking Nicolas Cage out of it. So it's like, let's allow people to recast people. Harrison Ford has been very vocal about the fact that when Harrison Ford is dead, Indiana Jones is dead. And that sucks, because I love Indiana Jones and I love Harrison Ford, and if he really feels that way, fine. But I don't know why it should necessarily be up to him. He is, at the end of the day, just an actor. He is just the person who's portrayed the character. Granted, however, I guess someone will say, well, would you say the same thing about Ash Williams? And the answer is no, I wouldn't. Bruce Campbell is the only person to play Ash. But that's because I feel like Ash is more Bruce than he is a fictional character. Bruce is Ash Williams. It's not that Ash is Bruce Williams. Indiana Jones is a hat. He's a whip. He's a personality. He's a look. He's a archetype. Same with all the horror icons. They're all signature iconography, iconic things. They're not just that one thing. So, with this movie, I kept thinking about that the whole time. I didn't like the DH sequence because they didn't like DH's voice. So it was just weird to me, and I couldn't just be like, oh wow, I'm watching like an Indiana Jones movie that never happened. Like, I didn't get that feeling. I don't know. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. When Mark Hamill was DH to play Luke Skywalker on The Mandalorian, like the episodes where he's training like Grogu and stuff, I was like, okay, like this actually kind of works for me. It's weird. It's like I keep looking at it to see if it's working for me, but it kind of was. And this, the whole time I'm looking at it saying like, does this work for me? And the answer is no, it doesn't. And the plot is whatever. The villain is fine. It's Mads Mikkelsen, so it's going to be like a certain level of quality. But ultimately, I just left the movie feeling really, really empty. So, which is not how I want to feel after I watched an Indiana Jones movie. Also, I saw it in like the middle of the summer, packed house, 4th of July weekend. There's like a ticker tape parade in it that's got all this like 4th of July looking stuff in it. I'm like, this is a great time to watch this movie. But the movie itself just isn't clicking with me. It's also, one of my favorite parts of Indiana Jones movies was always Indy having a fist fight with like a henchman and stuff. He has none of that in this movie, if you don't count the flashback scene, which I don't. So, yeah, let's move on to Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Where is he going? He's going to get Gatorade, because he doesn't drink soda anymore. Oh, shit. This is a long video. It's going to take even longer to edit. You guys better fucking appreciate this fucking video. Okay, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. I think I was really, really excited to see this movie, and I came out of it loving the movie. I love the Mission Impossible movies. I love Tom Cruise movies. When you got movies like ones with Tom Cruise in them, you can't go wrong. But this movie really did get kind of swallowed up by a very busy summer, and that's unfortunate because I really do think it was super solid. I loved the new villain of the movie. I thought that was really interesting. I thought there was some new kind of fight scenes and new action sequences that we hadn't seen before. But it did, while it felt like a complete narrative, and it felt like after it was over, like I know it left as like the mission was unfinished because it's part 1 or whatever. It felt like we got like a beginning, middle, and end, and then now it's a cliffhanger. It wasn't like Fast X where they just pulled the plug at it, you know? It was a cliffhanger I was much more willing to wait for. But all that being said, it still felt like they were holding back a lot of their craziest stuff for a second part. That's really all I have to say about it. I've never been a huge fan of Rebecca Hall's character. I've always thought she was just kind of boring. And then they bring in Haley Atwell, who was awesome. Again, this is, you know what, this is really works as a, as Dante Graves is now canonically pansexual. Let's say he's pansexual. How about that? Dante Graves is canonically pansexual. Haley Atwell had it going on in this movie. So she was very easy to look at, I'll put it that way. But she was also phenomenal in the movie, and she had great chemistry with Tom Cruise, much better than I would say Rebecca Hall did. And even still, when they killed Rebecca Hall's character, I was like, damn, we're gonna fridge her? She got fridged. That's what she got. I was kind of shocked about that, but it kind of let me know, like, okay, we're not afraid to kill people just because they've been around forever. We're not the Fast and the Furious. If it's time for you to die, Barbie. I saw Barbie. Barbie was phenomenal. I thought it was a really pretty looking, really fun, bubbly movie. I had fun going to it. I wore my pink shoes and stuff. And I went with a crowd of girls. I had my girlfriend. I had my 2 sisters. And theater was predominantly female. And I didn't feel left out. I felt like I was in on the joke, you know. And it was a fun movie. I know a lot of people, this is like a divisive movie. I don't know. I don't really have much else to say about it. I bought it on Blu-ray also. That's another mark, remember? If you're still thinking about it afterwards, and if you buy it on Blu-ray, it's like, oh man, he fucking loved this movie. And I did. I loved Barbie. I saw The Meg 2. The Meg 2, dude. So, like, when I was a kid, if you, like, came up to young me, and you're like, who's the toughest dude? Who's, like, the most badass dude? I'd say probably, like, well, Jason Statham. Jason Statham's a really badass dude. He was in Crank. He was in Death Race. He was in the Transporter trilogy. Like, he knows Kung Fu, but he can drive, and he can fucking run, and he can jump off stuff, and he's fucking shoot guns, and he's so badass, dude. He's just the coolest guy. And it's like, what's the most badass animal? I'd say, well, sharks, but specifically the Megalodon, because the Megalodon is the biggest shark that ever lived on Earth. That's what young me would say, okay? And then I'd be like, okay, what if there's a movie where they're both in it together? And I would say, that'd be sick! And then The Meg would come out, and it'd be my favorite movie ever. But I saw The Meg when I was a grown-ass man, and I got a little chuckle out of it. I thought it was a fun-ass movie. But at the end of the day, I was like, I'm not a kid anymore. Jason Statham is not the coolest guy in the world. Even though if he is close to it, he's not. And sharks, while they are really fascinating animals, they're there's no such thing as the toughest animal. They are just simply cool animals. But deep down, I know that sharks are the coolest animals, and Jason Statham is the coolest guy in the world, and I know that them together is a great combination, and I know that when you have a shark fight a giant squid, while Jason Statham is fighting a bunch of bad guys on a dock above that fight happening, you're gonna get something out of me, you know? I think the introduction of human villains into the Meg universe really went a long way for me, because I was all for another Meg movie, and you know, when Meg 3 comes out, you bet your ass I'm gonna be there. But I was also like, man, if Jason Statham's in there, I'd really like to see him beat some people up. And then they're like, well, how about these guys? And I was like, all right, now we're talking. And then Jason Statham beat up a bunch of guys on an oil rig. He beat up a guys in like a little vacation village, you know, with a bunch of boardwalks on it. Just enough room for people to get thrown into sharks' mouths, but also him to fight and shoot people. Look, again, I cannot stress enough how non-movie critic I am. I see a movie where Jason Statham fights a bunch of guys on a dock, and there's also shark attacks happening around him, and a giant shark's fighting a giant octopus or whatever, and I'm like, yeah. But this movie has cocaine bear-itis, where I left the movie theater and I forgot about watching it. But it was summer, and I went to the pool afterwards, and it was like, you know, I can't be that mad at it. I took my little sisters to it, and they got a kick out of it, so that's my review of The Meg 2. I saw They Live in theaters. I'm gonna not talk too much about it, because we're getting near the end of the list, and I want to, like, kind of just fucking get done with this shit. But I saw They Live. It's a perfect movie. One of my favorite John Carpenter movies, if not my favorite. It's got Roddy Piper in it, one of my favorite pro wrestlers. It's got a great message. It's really well done. I may or may not have even talked about it before. If I haven't, I'll talk about it again someday when I cover, like, all of John Carpenter's stuff. I saw The Nun 2. I have a voice message of me complaining about having seen The Nun 2. I'm going to just play that instead, because that's my review of The Nun 2. And that gives me the freedom to talk about Exorcist Believer. Alright, I'm back in my car. This message is going to be me non-stop fucking bitching. I'm going to try and keep it as short as fucking... Shut the fuck up, radio. I'm going to try and keep it as short as possible. But it's going to be a long one. If you don't want to hear me complain about a movie theater experience, then turn the message off. I don't want to hear you being annoyed. 3, 2, 1. I'm never, ever going to Flicks Brewhouse ever the fuck again. If you invite me, I'm gonna tell you to go fucking die. Cause fuck it forever. It's the worst fucking theater. If you like it, you're objectively fucking retarded. It's the worst fucking theater. I've been there twice before. I have never had an experience this fucking horrid, okay? 1, I didn't want to go to Flicks, but I went anyways because it was right next to my work. We're going to see The Nun 2 is what we went to go see. Bree didn't really want to see a movie, but she wanted to go out and do something, and that is what we decided to do. We both kind of were like, but we did it anyways. So we go to Flicks. If you don't know how it works, there's like a little table in front of you, and like a waiter comes up and you like order food. I think the entire concept of a beer theater, like a brew house theater, I like beer, but the entire concept is fucking stupid. It's just a way to get troglodyte, mouth-breathing fucking Luddites into a movie theater because they're so desperate, because everyone wants to stay home and watch shit at home. So like, well, we have beer, so there's that. And the idea of it being like a restaurant is also fucking stupid, because you have to like order food while a movie's on, and like people show up late and the movie's like going and they're like trying to give their order like, a burger and fries, and could you put ranch on it, but I don't want any tomato. Shut the fuck up! I got there 20 minutes early, like I always do for every fucking movie I ever see, but of course the theater's packed, because it's Friday night, and it's a horror movie that everyone and their fucking grandma wants to see. So, we show up, the waitress is a fucking cunt. I hope she gets in a car accident later, and she loses the ability to control her fucking legs for the rest of her life. She's a fucking bitch, alright? She comes up, and I'm trying to show her my ID so I can order a beer, and she's looking at me like I'm fucking stupid. And I'm like, I'm just trying to show it, like, do you want me to take it out? And she just, like, doesn't say anything to me, like, looks through me like I'm a fucking ghost from the movie we're about to watch. And I say,
I'd like, the one it's like a moon beer. There's 4 beers on the menu. There's a Luchador beer, there's an Oktoberfest beer, the Moon beer, which is like Luna something, and then there's another one that has nothing about moon in the title. And I'm trying to say like the moon one. I don't know what it's called. It's like a citrusy, like orange kind of thing. And she's like looking at me like I'm stupid. And Bree's like, do you have a menu? Like trying to help me order the thing. And she's like, you mean the Luna Love, like rattles off the actual name. And I'm like, yeah, that one. And she's like, okay. And I'm like, can I get that? And she's like, yeah. Like, it's just like the interaction is already pissing me off. Not to mention, I just found out 20 minutes before I go in there that Parker had Zach as his best man, never fucking asked me. Okay, so I'm already pissed off. And then this interaction with her fucking happens. The movie gets going. We order burgers. They drop off our food as the movie starts. We like wolf it down, and then we just start watching the movie. The burger is actually delicious. The burger, later do I find out, cost me $20 for the burger alone. The beer is $8. The fries added on $10. So for those of you keeping score at home, $38. Now, if you heard me complain yesterday that I don't have any money, you say, why did you go here? I don't know! Self-inflicted wound! Bree ordered the same thing I did, so you can go ahead and double what I just said, because I'm covering her food. And I'm not mad at her, because I ordered the same thing. I'm mad at both of us. I'm mad at myself. I'm mad at everything. I'm mad at Parker, and I'm mad at during the fucking movie. A gentleman at the back end of the theater. He's in the last row of the theater. I can hear talking about nothing. He's not talking about the movie. He's not ordering food. He's just talking. And someone says, could you please be quiet? And he says, what? And then I hear them say, dude, just shut up. After he's been shh, shh, shh. You can only do that so many times, okay? And eventually she says, can you please shut up? And he's like, you shut the fuck up. Like, I heard him just straight up. And everyone in the theater's like, oh. Like, you hear, like, gasps around the entire time this is happening, some spooky, boogly-woogly shit is happening on screen, but I can't get invested because of the fucking retardery going on behind me, okay? Then, that situation prolongs throughout the fucking movie, even though at the beginning of the fucking movie, they have a little disclaimer that says, please be quiet, be courteous to whatever. If you are not quiet, you'll be asked to be quiet. On your second warning, you'll be asked to leave with no refund. That never fucking happens. When there's 6 motherfucking retards stationed in the theater to tell you to do so, that never fucking happens, alright? Also, they immediately take out 18% gratuity when you pay, which you pay before you get your fucking food. If you like the gratuity removed, if the service was terrible, like it fucking was, you can go speak to the manager after the fact. Guess what? When I wanted to go speak to a manager, there was none present. So I just got fucked. The situation between the gentleman and the woman and also another guy that gets, like, involved after the fact because he also wants this fucking guy to shut the fuck up. Because at a certain point he says, shh, and he says, don't fucking shush me, bro, I'll fuck you up. And then that dude says, oh yeah, and then they get into, like, this thing. And I'm just hearing that, okay? Eventually, the lady gets up to complain, and then she never comes back. Like, as if they kicked her out. And then that fucking dude got to stay, alright? And then the other thing that happened is that there's a fucking, like, I don't know if he's autistic. If he is, he better be, because that at least makes it somewhat okay. His fucking phone rings, and it's like the Eminem I'm Not Afraid song, and it's blaring in the theater. It's during, like, a quiet part right before a scary thing's about to happen. So, I'm tense throughout the whole movie. I can't tell you what the movie was about. I assume that there's a nun in it, and that it's the sequel to The Nun. That's all I fucking know, because I'm busy being pissed off about everything around me, and my fucking wallet, and Parker and his phone rings, and everyone goes, you hear the sigh. Everyone in the theater's pissed. We all want to die. Except the dude talking, he's having a grand old time, and the dude that just answered his fucking phone 2 seats away from me, alright? He hangs up on it, and then 2 minutes later, it rings again. And I said, dude, it already rang. Can you quiet it down? And he just looked at me like I'm fucking dumb, and then answered his phone and said, what, dude, I'm in the movie theater. Yeah, okay, I'll do it later. Okay, talk to you later. And then hangs up, puts the phone down. I'm going to give you a couple options of what happened next. Do you think A, it never rang again, he put it on silent, and then afterwards he apologized to me and said, hey man, I didn't mean for it to go off. And I said, no, it's all good, man. That's option A. Option B, it rings again, and I pull out a gun and shoot him in the fucking head in front of his mother. And then she starts crying because I shot her son. And then I shoot her. And then I turn around and I fucking 360 no-scope the motherfucker talking in the back. And then I go up to the fucking bitch that took my order and I shoot her in the fucking head. And then I turn the gun on myself and blow my own fucking brains out. That's option B. Or option C. I do none of the above, but the phone rings again, and then everybody still pisses me off. It's option C, because I'm a fucking pussy. And then the movie fucking ended, and I got up, and I fucking left. That was why I'm never fucking going to Flicks again. Fuck you!
Exorcist Believer is... Before I went and seen it, I rewatched Exorcist, and Exorcist II and Exorcist III. The original Exorcist movie... is one of the greatest movies of all time. It's one of the greatest horror films of all time, obviously. And it's just, the older you get watching it, you realize how good it really fucking is. It's not just that it's a religious horror film, so it has all kinds of, like, weight and gravitas to it. It's like, no. Like, this is a really, really good fucking movie. It's honestly like a breathtaking movie, how good it truly is. Exorcist 2... doesn't work for me on basically any level. I don't want to get too much into it because that's like a whole thing in and of itself. But it's just not good. I think everyone knows that. Some people are like fans of it, they're defenders of it, but again, it's just kind of boring is my biggest issue. It's weird, it takes some big swings, but it could be weird and take big swings, but does it have to be boring is my biggest thing. Exorcist 3 is one of my favorite movies ever. It's definitely one of my favorite horror films. It might even be in my top 5. Exorcist 3 is perfection. I like it better than the first one. I think the first one's probably a better movie, but 3 is like... It really, really resonates with me on a number of levels, and I fucking adore Exorcist 3, okay? So, Exorcist I didn't see either of the prequel movies either. I tried to watch one of them, and I didn't finish it. I will watch them someday. It wasn't I didn't finish it because I thought it was bad. I just like didn't feel it at the time and I turned it off. Exorcist Believer, though... Rather than... Okay, I'm going to just say that I thought the movie was fine. I don't hate it. I don't love it. But I did have one huge takeaway from it, and this is all I'm going to really say about it. The original Exorcist movie is like... There's a girl... taking a crucifix, a young girl, and she's shoving it in her pussy, and over, and saying, let Jesus fuck you, or let Jesus fuck me, or whatever, and then, she takes her mom's face, and smears it in her bloody, ripped up private parts, and says, lick me, and throws her against the wall, and twists her head around, and you're just like, holy shit, like, holy fucking God, make it stop. Like, have mercy. And the movie's like, no. You know, it's pure evil. That movie came out in, like, the early 70s. And it made a huge impact on people for the shock of it, but also for what the movie was trying to say about faith. Okay? I'm not a deeply religious person, but I'm a very spiritual person. I believe in concepts such as truly good and truly evil. And I don't think any of the Exorcist movies are a profound endorsement of Catholicism as an institution. And if you think they are, I will argue with you about it not being that. But I have an interpretation of them, and I believe that they are obviously about faith, and that you can watch them as pro-Catholic movies, but you can also watch them as just pro-faith movies, and you can watch them as just great movies, which is what makes them work so well. So I liked that Believer kind of kept that theme in there that was also heavily in Exorcist 3. 3 is the one that I think really hammers that theme in, which is why it probably is my favorite one. But in Exorcist Believer, all of the really shocking, fucked up, like horrific stuff from the original Exorcist is gone. It's sanitized, it's washed out. Don't give me some kind of bullshit about how it's 2023 and we can't say things anymore. You can. You're just fucking cowards. You wanted to catch the biggest net possible, which is what I expect from the people that did Halloween 2018. But it's for pussies. It's a little baby bitch fest movie, and it has nothing on any previous Exorcist movie, even ones that are not true Exorcist movies, like Exorcism of fucking Emily Rose and stuff probably went farther than this. So, like, don't give me this shit about how you're the true sequel and you get it and you did a bunch of research and you're going to give me the real deal shit. If you're going to call yourself an Exorcist movie, you need to be willing to fucking go there. At no point in this movie did I feel as though I was in, like, actual danger. Like, I was unsafe. Like, I was uncomfortable being in the room watching the movie I was watching. It was a basic, by the numbers, washed up, watered down, puss version of The Exorcist. That was the movie. Finely acted, some interesting ideas for sure. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen. It's perfectly watchable. And it's probably not even the worst Exorcist movie I've ever seen. But again, I just couldn't help but think, I'm like, if we were willing to go there back in the 70s, in a much more conservative time, why now does this movie that's claiming to be the real sequel and all these other ones don't count, this is it, you know? You can't even do a good imitation of the original Exorcist because you're not willing to go to places that it went to. So, that's my review of The Exorcist Believer. Oh shit! I skipped over one. Saw X. Brother. Saw X. I want to talk about it in a more robust Saw movie review, but I will just say that I loved it. It was my favorite horror film I think I saw all year. I've seen it twice, and I bought it on Blu-ray, and I've thought about it a lot since then. So that's all of the boxes checked to make it a good movie in this weird scale that I've introduced. But yeah, Saw X was awesome, and it was just a fucking blast to go see with all my friends and go see again with even more friends. And that's all I really have to say about it. When I do a more robust Saw video, because I will someday, I will cover Saw X in greater detail. But I did see Saw X, so and it was my favorite. Killers of the Flower Moon. I saw Killers of the Flower Moon. Let's see. I guess I would have seen it in November, I want to say. Because I think it was Veterans Day that I went and seen it. Yeah. Really, really good movie. But I just saw it in the worst crowd. There was a dude sitting next to me that would do this. The whole movie. The whole fucking movie. Leonardo DiCaprio's on the stand testifying that and he's answering these fucking brutal questions from his wife about whether or not he knew if he was poisoning her or not and all these kinds of things like that. And it's like he's just really acting his ass off, and this jackass next to me can't go somewhere to blow his fucking nose. He also had a girlfriend with him, and keep in mind, they're right here. So if he's whispering enough for her to hear him, I can hear what he's saying, okay? I can't hear what he's saying, because he's kind of like leaning over, but I can hear him whispering, and it's like, I think maybe after the movie we should go see this thing. And that's so annoying when a silent scene is happening, or when they're in the tent with the dude talking about how, like Robert De Niro is trying to tell the chief or whatever that he's like, I'm gonna get to the bottom of this, and I'm gonna personally ensure that we catch these killers of the Flower Moon or whatever. That scene's happening, and this like little whisper fest is going on over here. It's just very fucking annoying. And at a certain point, I started getting petty. Like he would go, and I'd go right back. I just, it really sank the movie for me. But at the end of the day, it was a truly great movie. I wish I could have seen it under better circumstances. Would I recommend it to other people? Is the difficult thing. As a Marty Scorsese fan, yes. But as a person who knows how other people are, I don't know if this movie's really going to connect with people, and I don't think it did because it didn't make a whole lot, which is a bummer. And this might be Martin Scorsese's last movie, which is also a bummer. So I was honored to be able to see it in the theater, but I'm also bummed that it didn't land more with people. All right, you ready? And action. Okay, you wanna fuck with me? You wanna fuck with slime? Oh shit! Oh, fuck me! Don't catch my leg.
I didn't mean to. I tried to block it.
All right, we're good. We're good. Let me give me a minute.
Keep it going. I like it.
Oh fuck! He was like, gotcha. He like just made a perfect hook with his foot.
I went like this.
Oh, my ass cheek. Oh shit. Not even my ass cheek. It's like the part right above.
My coccyx.
My coccyx. That's what it is.
I went to block like this, and you went.
I kicked too high that time. I was like going for your base almost.
Okay. Well, if you're gonna.
No, I'm not gonna kick the high again. I'm gonna try and just. It's gonna go like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I went here, and you went.
This is where it's going. Hit me with your forearm. That way I don't have to worry about going over your fucking hand and you hooking me. Giving me a Kurt Angle ankle lock. Okay. Fuck my ass. It is 3:19, so I gotta get this show on the fucking road. Next I saw Terrifier 2. It was a re-release thing because I wanted to see the little teaser at the end of the movie. I've got more to say about Terrifier 2 in a later video. I will just say that I love the movie. I've got a whole... I should just do a thing about Terrifier at some point. And maybe I will, actually. But, yeah, Terrifier 2 was a lot of fun. I got to see it again in a theater full of, like, diehard fans. Granted, there's only, like, 6 of them in there, but they were all cosplayed up and stuff. And, there were some girls there who were dressed like Tubby the Clown, which kind of alarmed me at first. I thought Tubby the Clown had come into my screening. Still have not seen that guy in a long time. So, let me know if you guys have seen him. But yeah, Terrifier 2 was a lot of fun to see. I saw Thanksgiving, which we seen in, I already reviewed it, so we're just going to go right past it. I saw Godzilla -1. I saw this in the early screening. Godzilla -1, fuck, how do I sum up this movie? I loved the movie. I need to just do a Godzilla video, is really what I need to do. But Godzilla -1 was awesome. We're speed running it. We're almost to the end. Godzilla -1 was awesome. I saw The Iron Claw twice. The Iron Claw was my favorite movie of last year. The most fun I had in the theater was John Wick 4. My favorite movie was The Iron Claw. Iron Claw made me bawl. I'm a huge wrestling fan. I had watched the Dark Side of the Ring episode when it originally aired of the Von Erich family, and so I knew a little bit, but I'd kind of forgotten things. I deliberately didn't look things up. But this movie's amazing. It's breathtaking. It's pure cinema. You need to watch it. And the last movie I saw in 2023 was Anyone But You, a romantic comedy that was sold to me purely on the sex appeal of the two leads and some marginally funny jokes in the trailer. At the end of the day, I had a lot of fun in this theater. It sucks that this is the last movie we're covering in my 2023 wrap-up video, but I don't know. It was something super refreshing about seeing a romantic comedy that had no other kind of bullshit attached to it. It was just like a pure, like, are these two gonna get together? Oh, we'll find out, you know. And it was like, it was edgy enough that it showed like some sex appeal from men and women, which you see a lot of it from men now. There's a lot of like beefcake stuff out there, but you don't see as much cheesecake stuff. So it was nice to see some cheesecake. I don't know. I had fun watching it. It was a feel-good movie. I'll never watch it again. It's one of those movies. It was a fun night out at the movies. Done. Gonzo. Out of here! Just like this video. Thank you guys so much for watching my 2023 wrap-up video. Hopefully, this makes amends for the fact that I didn't do any drive-in episodes. I would love to tell you that this means I'm going to do a bunch more now. But, dude, I'm fucking busy. If you want to see more of me, go subscribe to the JC and Hobby YouTube channel. I'm on there all the time. Also, new episodes of Dante Grave Show are obviously still on the way. These things just take time. They take days, months, but not years. One is coming, I promise you. Thank you guys so much for watching. You right where you're at?
Yep.
Okay. And action. God. I didn't have my hoodie on.
Fuck! That was
That
good,
looked
too.
good too.
Fuck!
You need to tell us if it's good or bad before we move on.
Yeah.
Just
But
going
that-
forward,
that
you'd be like,
was
it
good.
looked good.
Yeah,
Okay.
when we ask, it doesn't matter if it looked good or not. If it didn't, tell us.
Say something.
It's not going to hurt our feelings. It'll hurt our feelings if we work hard on it
If
and
we
then we
do
look at it
all this
later.
work and then we have to find a time to do it again.